Hey guys, Justin here, or Mr. Fisher Mooser, but you can call me Moose. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to have another episode of my Beginner's Guide to Airsoft, where I take you on a journey of going from beginner to pro in Airsoft in no time. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So this top 10 is just going to be some basic things. I'm not going to go too in-depth on each one, but this is the basic, down and dirty, my top 10 of tactics to help you improve your airsoft skills. And so in some future videos, I'm going to be kind of breaking down and going more in-depth on some of these, not necessarily by the same title, but I'm going to be having some of these topics definitely in their own videos. If you want more tactics on like actual maneuvers that you can do to improve your skills, I'm going to have a video for that. This video is just kind of like a top 10, just kind of like an entertaining thing, so you guys can have a quick down and dirty of my top 10 of how to improve your airsoft skills. Real fast before we get into the top 10, what I want you guys to do is look down in the description of this video and you'll see a link to my Discord server. I urge you, please join that, because not only will you be able to chat with me and actually be able to interact with me in real time. A lot of times YouTube does not send me notifications for comments. I don't know why. It's YouTube. So the best way to contact me, whether you have questions, suggestions, or whatever, is through the Discord server. It's in the description to every single one of my videos. I just don't promote it, and so I'm now going to start promoting it. One of the best things you can go to the Discord server for is not just to answer me to answer questions or you to be involved in future podcasts and or videos, but you can also be able to see what I'm up to in real time, kind of get some teasers for what I'm going to be working on. A quick teaser here would be, for example, giveaways. I'm going to be doing giveaways in the future, as well as possibly forming my own squad to train together to go out to events. And so a bunch of cool stuff over there on the Discord. And it's not just Airsoft either. A lot of it is, but it's not just Airsoft. So guys, let's go ahead and get right into this top 10. Sorry guys, so this is my top 10. This is not anybody else's, so someone else's may look a little bit different. This is just my personal top 10 things to help improve your improve your skills in Airsoft. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from 10 and go down to 1. So here's what that means. That means the first thing I say is going to be the last thing that you want to try to improve on to improve your skills. Okay, makes sense? So my first thing I'm going to mention is the last thing you want to do. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with number 10. Number 10 would be grenades. Grenades are a lot of fun, and they can be a great asset in your arsenal to use on the airsoft field. It's definitely not my number 1, but it has definitely made it into my top 10 because they are so useful. Now, in some places, not all fields have the ability to, but some places you can actually set it as a tripwire setup if you make sure to follow field's rules, but then you have a trap that you can then leave, a booby trap, and then you can walk away, and then when you while you're gone, someone else can get trapped. But the best place for them is if you are at an airsoft field that has any sort of buildings involved. Because I asked my dad, who was actually in the military, asked him what's the best way to clear a building. He said toss a grenade in. That's not quite what he said, but he said instead of you coming in, losing all your guys by storming the building, if you have the option, grenades are a lot better. And so same thing goes for airsoft. If you're coming up to position and there's a bunch of guys possibly in the building, you know there's no friendlies in there, the best way to clear that building is to toss a grenade in. Right as soon as it goes off, everybody jumps in. Guess what? If you didn't kill anybody in that initial throw, they scattered, and so now their plan of surprise is now gone. You're the one that's now surprising. You're now the aggressor. You now have ownership of that engagement. And so grenades, really useful, but definitely not my number 1. So that makes it easily into my top 10 though. Alright guys, so now comes number 9. Number 9 is radios. The reason why it's not higher up in the list is because radios themselves are a great asset. However, they can take a little bit of time to get used to and to use properly and cost money. And so for that simple fact of it actually costing money and it's not something you personally are improving on, is why it's not higher up on the list. Otherwise, it would probably be up there in the top 5 and not top 3, right? And so my number 9 is radios. Once you do have your radio and you know how to use it properly, and you got friends that are also using them properly, you can take ownership of an entire field. A quick example of that is me, my brother, and our good friend DeWolf. We were out and it was just a skirmish day. We were probably the only real regulars there, or at least ones that had radios. and we had a smaller team versus the enemy team had just like a couple more guys, and they had a few more guys that played Airsoft, a little bit more than what the guys on our teams did. And so what we did was we were losing pretty bad in the first round. And so when we came back, what we did was we split up the our entire team into 3 squads with us 3 as the squad leads because we had radios. And so we were able to very tactfully be able to position our guys in 3 different spots of the field and be able to tell each other where a guy was coming from. And so we went from losing pretty badly to immediately dominating the entire airsoft field just because of 3 guys with radios. So if you can do that with only 3 guys using radios properly, imagine what you could do with an entire unit of radios. And so radios easily make the top 10. Let's move on to number 8. My number 8 is to learn your AO. So if you have a regular field that you go to, memorize the field, kind of learn where stuff are, where people are coming from, where hiding spots are, all that sort of stuff. If this is a field that you regularly go to, that's gonna make it a lot easier. Just try to, like, while you're playing, don't just play the game. Try to take mental note of, okay, he's coming from here, he's coming from here, and then on the opposite side, when you're going out, think, okay, I'm coming through here, I'm coming through here, so if we switch sides, now you know where the spots are where the guys are going to be coming from, right? And so this also goes for places you've never been to. If you want a really good way to up your game before you go to a new airsoft field and really want to impress the regulars at that field, find a map of the AO. Most fields will have a website, Facebook page, or something that will have their map somewhere that you can then download and look at and even memorize before going to the airsoft field. So even if you don't memorize it, if you can just get familiar where something is at or what things may be called locally, because there will be some things at every single field that the regular players know there by name, and if you can somehow figure out a way to know those locations by name before going there, that puts you at such an advantage where all you got to worry about is playing. You don't have to worry about where the bad guys are, where they're coming from, or anything. So that is why that is up there as my number 8. Alright guys, so this is number 7, and number 7 is your brain. Now this probably could have been way up as number 1, however everything under number 7 requires you to use your brain, and they kind of go a little bit more specifics, but just as a broad number 7, your brain, that is going to be just simply using your brain. Now, if I'm out here, I'm shooting this way, using my brain would be also keep an eye over here from enemies coming this way or trying to flank around me, or if I see an enemy running off to my left, I need to remember, oh, now there's a guy on my left. Unless somebody else on my team takes him out, he's going to be behind me at some point. So just kind of using your brain or a game sense, form some sort of a game sense while you're out there on the field. It's just small things that you can do to help improve your skills. This just using your brain, taking mental notes of what's going on. If you are down to 1 mag, remember that. If you shot a whole bunch of times and you have 100-round magazines, guess what? Your magazine's probably about to end. Or before you storm a building, maybe switch mags. Or before you pop yourself up to engage in combat, switch mags. Or have some sort of just like you're thinking beyond just the here and now shooting at a bad guy. If you are thinking a little bit of a broader scope than that, that will greatly improve your skills on the battlefield. Alright, that brings us to number 6. Number 6 is, guess what? Practice firearm safety. Now, I know these are not firearms, these are replicas, and this is a sport with toy guns. We're shooting plastic BBs at each other and having fun. We're maintaining airsoft safety. However, something I want to see more of is people using airsoft to practice firearm safety. What this means is maybe you're not sticking your gun in somebody's face or playing around with it in between rounds, shooting your friends or something. What in the military they call flagging your teammates. What that means is if you're aiming at somebody and you have a friend crossing next in front of you, you don't keep the gun pointed to where they're passing straight by the muzzle. You'll lift the gun up or tilt the gun down. You're being mindful of where that muzzle goes and everything like that. Maintaining a firearm safety within airsoft. The reason why this is good is because as you get older and you handle real firearms, you don't want to develop bad habits when playing airsoft that then goes into using real firearms. If you're used to flinging your airsoft gun around at the airsoft field where the muzzle's pointing every single direction, you don't care, it goes by everybody, it faces everybody, accidentally discharge a couple BBs and hit your friends, that's fine and everything on the airsoft field. But if you transition into firearms and you keep those same bad habits, well, guess what? Somebody's going to get hurt. And so while you're growing up, a really good way to get used to firearms is through airsoft, so that way whenever you do get old enough to handle real firearms, you are maintaining a level of safety that you've already practiced on the airsoft battlefield. Alright guys, this is it. We've made it to the top 5, and for number 5 is to control your trigger finger. I can't say this enough. Control your trigger finger. Your trigger finger is your primary safety. Your primary safety. In other words, if your safety fell off your gun, or your safety broke, or accidentally got switched, your gun can still go off. Your primary safety is your trigger finger and where your muzzle is pointed. That's why it's important to know where your muzzle is pointed at all times, but your gun is not going to go off if your finger is not on that trigger. And so whenever you are not currently shooting at enemy players, take your finger off of safety. Another reason for this is when you're in the middle of a firefight, you don't want to shoot a couple rounds, duck down, put it on safe, take the mag out. That takes extra time, right? So if you're not putting it back on safety especially, you want to keep your finger off that trigger. Otherwise, while it's not on safety and you're trying to reload, you're going to shoot your guy that's standing point blank range in front of you, and if you've got a high power airsoft gun, that's going to hurt. And so just like with the firearm safety, this goes the same way. Keep your trigger finger off the gun unless you are ready and fixing to shoot the replica. Alright guys, number 4. This probably could have made it a little bit further down the list, but I just wanted to throw it in here because it's one of the number 1 mistakes I see new people do, and that is to watch your elbow. What that means is when I'm going around a corner, I am not sticking my elbow out like this, using it as a chicken wing to let the enemy team know that I'm there. So biggest thing, and that doesn't just go with your elbow, that goes with your head, your knees, your foot. Be mindful of where your body and your gun, your kit, be mindful of everything on you, where it's at, because that will very easily give away your position, and then that gives your enemy the edge, and then guess what? You guys are shot before you even started playing the game. So keep that elbow in, close, tucked into you. We'll go over that in a different video when we're talking about actual maneuvers and tactics, and we'll go over your chicken wing as well as watching where your feet are, your head are, your kit is, and your shadows, the noise, all that sort of stuff. We'll be talking in another video. But that's why I made it into my top 5, just because it's one of the number 1 problems I see, or mistakes I see new players do. Alright guys, we are getting close. We're down to the top 3. For my top 3, I have number 3, very important here, and that is shoot, move, communicate. Yes, that's technically 3 things, but I classified it as 1 thing. This is the biggest key. In fact, it probably should be number 1, and number 2 is right up there too, but number 3 is shoot, move, communicate. Here's what that means. That means if you are in a airsoft game and you've got your teammates next to you and you're standing there because you have 3 guys hunkered in the building covering the one entrance that a bad guy could come from, you have 3 guys standing there behind a building, guess what? You have several guys that are standing there doing absolutely nothing, so then your guys that are out there running into the fight are getting shot at from every which way, because your team of 10 just turned to a team of 5 because only 5 people are out there shooting, right? So what shoot, move, communicate simply means is if you are somewhere standing, you better be shooting. If you're not shooting at bad guys, that means what? That means there's no bad guy there, or you're behind cover, or you see the bad guy and you don't have a clear shot. That means that there's no bad guy for you to currently engage in. So if you are currently not engaging with an enemy combatant, your next thing to do is move. So if you're not shooting at the bad guy because there's no bad guy there, guess what? That means you're not being shot at either. That means you need to be moving to a new location. If you're moving to a new location to where you can then see the enemy, guess what? Now you can start shooting again. So it goes in that order: shoot, move, communicate. If you aren't able to get a shot, move to a spot where you can. Or if you're not being shot at, even better, move up to that next position. And the third part of that is communicate. Communicate, well, that is very important, because if you just run out there and your friend is shooting past you, guess what? You're going to get shot by your teammate, Or if you're running to a location, your teammate doesn't know you're going there, and you manage to push up so far that your team now thinks you're an enemy soldier, and so they shoot you by accident. So shoot, move, communicate with your teammates, move to the next position up, and shoot if there's a bad guy there. If you're at a spot being shot at, and so you can't peek a corner to shoot, and so that means you can't shoot, that means you're stuck, you can't move. What does that third one then? That means communicate. Communicate with your teammates saying, hey, I'm pinned, can someone cover fire? Here's where the guy's coming from. Guess what? Your teammate's now shooting. That allows you to move. Then you can repeat the process. You shoot, he moves, and guess what? You guys now successfully taken the entire objective. Alright guys, that brings me to number 2. Number 2 is communication. Just like with number 3 and the communication part in it, talk to your teammates. If you play any sort of sport, that's the number one thing your coach tries to teach you, is talk to your teammates. And so tell you guys where you're going, tell you guys where the enemy's at, use your communication skills, build your communication skills. Don't just say, hey, there's a guy over there. They don't know what that means. Say, hey, friendly over there at the building, or friendly at gray building, friendly 2 o'clock, enemy 3 o'clock, enemy behind the bushes at 3 o'clock. Be specific, use your communication skills, help you and your team dominate on the Airsoft Battlefield. Alright, we're here. We're finally here to number 1 of my top 10 tactics to improve your Airsoft skills. Number 1 is to have fun. At the end of the day, guys, we're just out here shooting BBs at each other. We're just a bunch of nerds. We're nerds that enjoy playing Army, right? So at the end of the day, it's just about having fun. No matter how much money you've spent on your kit, no matter how bad you've played or how well you've played, at the end of the day, you're just out here to have fun. So if you completely dominated the competition by following these top 10, great, awesome, but don't go up to the enemy team and be like, yeah, you guys are terrible, we beat you, we're better than you. Don't do that. We're out there to have fun, guys. Instead, walk up, shake their hand, and be like, great job, guys, you guys fought hard, that was an amazing fight, good job. And so, the same way, if you guys got beat a ton, don't be mumping around walking like this off the battlefield. Instead, be like, wow, you guys fought so amazing. I wish we guys could be like you. Can you guys give me some tips on how to improve my skills? And know what they're going to say? They're like, awesome. Here's the best tip I can give you, and that's to watch Mr. Fisher Mooser. His beginner guide to Airsoft series can help you guys go from beginner to pro in no time. And love that segue. Anyway, guys, that said, make sure to join the Discord server. If you haven't, link in the description. If you have any questions, let me know on the Discord or in the comment section down below. And if you guys have anything at all you need, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do. If you guys have any suggestions, whatever. With that said, guys, hope you guys take care, and I'll see y'all in the next one. See ya.